So just to let you all know, I'm not making this video particularly because this was on the docket of things to make. I'm making this video as sort of a pseudo apology. Well, it's not pseudo, it's actually a full-blown apology. So when I uploaded my video about how we were going to be moving on from Uber, I got initially a lot of comments. Well, not a lot, I got a few, but I got some comments where they're like, oh, here you go, making fun of Uber again. You know what? I'm getting really tired of you claiming that Uber's bad, bad, bad. You know what? I enjoy Uber the way it is. I make about $1,500 or so working 3 days a week, every week, and that works for me. Now, I have heard this many, many times, and I always tell people, hey, you know what? I need to see some receipts for that. As in, I don't believe you. Time and time again that I hear this and I actually ask for those screenshots, which is, their receipts, so to speak, no one ever actually shares them with me. And so I've come to believe that this mystical $1,500 that you can make in 3 days is just that. It's a myth for the most part. However, I'm always encouraged. I always tell people, I do not mind if I am wrong. In fact, I am sometimes happy to be wrong. And we have a situation where someone said they made about $1,500 a week off 3 to 4 days a week. I called BS on it, and they said, hold my beer, and we are going to look at these screenshots. But hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and if this is your first time here and you happen to like videos like these, welcome aboard. Do me a favor, if you like this video, click that subscribe button, ring that bell notification. We upload videos on a near daily basis, and you will be notified of premieres, live streams, chats, and just regular videos in general. So anyway, let's get off this standard stock option. Like I said, I was talking to someone on YouTube, and looking back on it, it looks like it got pretty heated, but from my perspective, it didn't. I don't get too heated over these things. I, for the most part, don't care, but I know that the internet has a way of making things sound. So, as stated before, someone said, hey, I make $1,500 3 to 4 days a week. I said, prove it, and the guy decided he wanted to prove it, so he sent me these screenshots. He sent me several, actually. Here's one of them. He made $1,349.44 from July 8th to July 15th. This is all this year, by the way. And as you can see, 4 days a week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There was 117 trips, 53 hours online, and 58 minutes. He got 481 points, and he got $166 in tips, plus a $20 Quest promotion. Not terrible. Let's take a look at what that would actually be. Okay, so let's say this is 1,349. 44 divided by, let's say, 54. Why not? Let's just round it out. That's about $25 an hour. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's look at the next one. This is $1,200 for 3 days, $39 an hour. Let's go back here. $1,261.17 divided by, we're just going to round that down because there's only 6 minutes above, 39 hours. That is about $32 an hour more or less. This included $137 in tips and an $18 Quest promotion. Go over here, 3 days, 40 hours online, $1,108. This included $148.30 in tips and a $22 consecutive trips promotion. Not terrible. So we won't calculate that one because it's pretty similar to the other one. Now this is one of the big ones. $1,800, $1,815.16 for 4 days, 54 hours, 16 minutes, 141 trips. This included $157.04 in tips and $50 in consecutive trip promotion. So if you are to calculate that, let's divide it by 54. I'm going to round that down again. $33 an hour. I mean, not bad. This is absolutely not bad. Let's look at a couple more. There's 1,400, 3 days. 1,300, 3 days. I noticed this one's only 35 hours. And 1,400, $39. You'll notice in all these screenshots, he's getting very good tip money, which means he's probably a very nice guy. In fact, I've talked to this guy. He was very nice. And you have a consecutive trip promotion. So, yeah, tips do make like a world of difference. If you're removing these tips, then this would be like, in almost all these cases, like a quarter less, like this one, for example. If you take that, but you remove the tips, it's $1,300. If you remove the consecutive trip promotion as well, there you go. What about the $1,800? This is like a, oops, sorry folks, I clicked the wrong one there. Let's do this one, and got a little sneak peek of the behind the scenes footage. Do this minus $157.04 minus $50. That's like pretty much, that's over $200 less. So that's a little disappointing. Now, here's the thing. This is very impressive. I was floored when I saw this. This was impressive. I mean, geez, the guys in Chicago who brag about making $2,000 a week and they're driving like 70 hours a week, guys, you are clearly doing something wrong. The person who sent me these screenshots, he needs to make a YouTube channel and share with the world his trips. Because here's the thing, like looking at this is not unreasonable. I mean, this kind of money that you're making, this is way better than average. And look, you're only working 4 days. Yeah, it pretty much involves a lot of overtime, but hey, when you're making like $30 an hour, yeah, that's pretty much overtime. That's way more than most overtime you will make at most jobs. So, and he gets points, so he's getting like the benefits from Uber. And I saw his, driver profile thing, which I'm not going to share here, by the way. And he only has 1% cancellation, so he's doing it without doing a lot of cancellations. This is super, super impressive. Now, I do have to point out a couple things, and I told him I'd be pointing these out. First of all, this does not account for expenses. So I do not have how much money he's spending on gas. I don't have how much money he's spending on like oil changes, maintenance, all that jazz. He also works another job. I won't tell you what it is, but he's pretty much working 7 days a week. I mean, I think he might take a day off. I don't know. We didn't talk that much about it, but he is essentially working a lot of hours. And when you look at a figure like this, it's like, okay, you can make that, but you have to decide, do you want that time spent to be on this? Like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, you make a lot of money, but you don't have time to spend the money, so it almost defeats the purpose of making the money. That's one thing to keep in mind. Also, here's another thing I want to mention, because he told me what his fare was. Now, it's a little lower than what California is paying right now, but not by a whole lot. And he never made as much money as I did. However, when I started, considering the fare was pretty comparable, I made at least 3 times the amount he did a few years ago. So if he had been doing this a few years ago, what would this figure have looked like? Well, it would have looked like this. So that's always kind of been my big problem with all of this. Again, you can make money doing this. It's clear. The proof is right there. But look at what you used to be able to make, or, I mean, give or take a couple $100, of course. Wouldn't you much rather be making what you were making like a few years ago than what you're making now? And I'm not talking about this person personally. This is working for him, that's fine. But, I mean, this is why I was so sour on Uber. This is why I had to get out of it. Because when you work someplace for a long time, your pay is in theory supposed to be going up. You're supposed to be getting promotions. You're supposed to be going to the top. You are not supposed to be fighting for scraps. So here's the thing. When I do that number, this is what I could have made a few years ago doing what he's doing right now. It's a heck of a lot more money. And for me to start out doing this to come down to this, that is a problem for me. And that was a problem for a lot of people. Now, we are in the age of Uber and Lyft where most people don't remember what it's like to make this kind of money. They don't. And so, as a result, anyone who says you can't make money doing this, they say, oh, you're complaining, you're not doing enough, you need to actually get out and drive. Okay, you know what? Yeah, you can drive. And look, clearly, you can make money. But it's not what it used to be. And I talked to this guy, and he, one of the things he pointed out was like when Travis Kalanick left, we got tips, and that made like a world of difference because, it kind of worked out about the same. I will say this. Yes, when you got tips, for some people that made a world of difference. But here's the thing. Look how much tips he's making. It's like a couple $100 when you factor in the promotion and everything. And look, that's not bad. I'm not saying it's not. But when you look at what at least my rates used to be and what this would have paid me in the past, I don't think the tips nearly cover that. And that kind of defeats the. It kind of even points out, like, look, the tips should have never been optional in the first place. Well, they weren't optional. You couldn't get tipped. The tips should never been this thing where it's like, hey, we're now going to give tips, which means you will make more money. And as a result, we are going to pay you less because you're going to make more money. That's not how this should have worked at all. But look, I am a man of my word. During this YouTube discussion that we had in the comments, and again, in hindsight, it looked like it got fairly ugly. I personally was never upset about it. And I even told him on the phone, I never called you a liar, but I did insinuate that I frankly didn't believe him. Well, look, I believe him. 3 to 4 days, he's shown me several screenshots, and he makes, on average, $1,500. That's pretty darn impressive, so I wanted to follow up on my end of the bargain, make this video. Congratulations, sir. As I told you on the phone, you have my respect, and, well, you have my apology now as well. But anyway, I'm kind of curious what everyone else thinks about this, because look, we can't refute it. Some people do make a lot of money in just a few short days. So does this change your opinion on driving for Uber? Would you actually want to give it another shot knowing that there are markets like this? I would love to know. So you know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.